What's going on, everybody? Jahmai Webster here with you alongside CBS Sports national baseball writer Julian McWilliams. You're listening and watching 310 The Left, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 48 years, and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. As we come to you a day after Major League Baseball's trade deadline. A lot to discuss, really, Julian. We'll get to it here. But before we listen to some of what Red Sox Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow had to say, what are your initial thoughts about the deadline as a whole, not just the Red Sox, but just the entire league?
I think this is the epitome of winners and losers, right? I think if you look at it from the standpoint of what, say, the Padres did, or even toward the end, I had the Yankees in there as being a disappointment, and suddenly Cashman at the buzzer goes after like two relievers and a backup infielder who's Caballero. I think his first name's Jose.
Jose Caballero. He was with the Rays. He's got some speed, man.
And got some speed, and I'm like, okay, they have something here. And then the Phillies obviously addressing what they need to address, just keeping it simple and saying, okay, we need a bullpen guy and an outfielder, and Dombrowski doing what he does, goes out and gets that. And then you have the Red Sox, who I think they had an opportunity here to not only gain some ground, but gain some ground in this division, and they just didn't do it. And now you're looking up, you're seeing the teams that did do it, the Yankees, Rangers, Seattle, they're all in the playoff hunt as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out of this, because I think this can go one of two ways. Either they build on this as sort of taking some, this a little bit personally and saying that the team didn't do enough to help us, or they can pout a little bit. And we've seen that, Jahmai, in years past with this team. When they don't feel satisfied at the deadline, they just seem to sort of just mail it in at the end of the year.
Yeah, we've seen both sides of that. Although I'm not feeling that vibe, at least going into the deadline.
Yeah,
from this particular team, just having conversations with the likes of Alex Bregman and Jarren Duran and even Alex Cora to some degree, just keeping the main thing, and saying how he's just here to manage games and letting the front office kind of do what they need to do. Although he has made interesting comments in years past about not saying we got worse,
he's saying
but everybody around us got better, right?
He's saying that now. Let's get through August. If they have another losing August, nobody will be saying that. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. That's all a PR kick. Everybody cares about the trade deadline. Everybody wants to get better. Like, you don't think Alex Bregman comes here just to stay with the same roster? Like, nah, bro. He's here. Right. He's here to win. Like, he's used to going after cats at the deadline, right? That's what he came from. Like, Houston was in it every year, and now you come back, you get a guy who's going to get kicked out of the Dodgers rotation. Dustin May and Steven Matz. Okay, fine, lefty, I guess. Yeah. So let's see what happens. They've been playing well. And I will say this, I think this is different this year than the other years, because I think they have players that have improved. Rafaela, Trevor Story's back, right? When you're looking at last year's deadline, they came out of it, and David Hamilton was still at shortstop. Right. All respect in the world to David Hamilton, but he was still at shortstop. Rafaela was still.
Excuse me.
He still swings at everything, but he was swinging at everything and not hitting it. And he wasn't as improved. And you're looking, Wilyer Abreu wasn't Wilyer Abreu, so they didn't have the pitching. They didn't have Garrett Crochet, so it could be a little bit different this year. But I think it could have been really, really different if they had gone out there and gotten at least one or two guys.
All right. Well, the two guys that they did get, as you mentioned, was the left-handed pitcher Steven Matz from the St. Louis Cardinals, and then right-handed pitcher from the LA Dodgers, Dustin May. And as you talked about, they got some pieces going back into the rotation with the return of Tyler Glass now. So he was getting squeezed out of there. So it was beneficial for both sides. The Red Sox needed a starter. He can fill that position. And obviously, he wasn't going to be starting in LA. They got like 12 pitchers on the injured list right now, so a lot of those guys are going to be coming back. But he has done that. We saw him most recently here at Fenway Park, where he gave it up to Alex Bregman. But we got Rob Bradford joining us on the show here a little bit later at some point as well. But for now, let's listen in to what Craig Breslow had to say about these pieces and the Red Sox dealings at the trade deadline.
Where our rotation has gone, we've followed, and when we've gotten really good starting pitching, we've won a bunch of games. We've been competitive. I think Dustin fits into that group. I don't know how much sense it makes to say exactly what he is ultimately. What he does over the next 2 months and beyond is going to define his time here in Boston. We pursued a number of really impact opportunities. Obviously not all of them work out, but it wasn't from a lack of trying to be as aggressive as possible, from an unwillingness to get uncomfortable. But ultimately it takes two teams lining up for those trades to line up. No, I don't think this is about an unwillingness to include guys or anything like that. Teams have to like our players in order for that to happen. And, we went into this deadline feeling like, in order to accomplish what we needed to accomplish, what we hoped to accomplish, we couldn't take some of our young minor league players off the table. We couldn't go into this with untouchables, and we didn't. We were willing to talk about all of our guys in the name of
as we welcome in our friend, our pal, and this is really, this is a dream trio, I must say. Rob Bradford, Baseball Isn't Boring podcast, WEEI, and Julian McWilliams obviously here as well. Rob, I can tell you, man, it's never been greater to see you.
Oh, see, you butchered it. You butchered it, Jahmai. There is no two people. There is no two people I'd rather be talking to right now than Jahmai Webster and Julian McWilliams. Come on. It's a simple assignment. Let's go.
Oh, man. All right. So I'll get it next time. Steal your number one line there, man. But we just heard from Red Sox Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow, and we're reacting to that right now. And I think the two things that stick out to me, he said it's not like we were unwilling to, look at all avenues, right? And no players were off the table. But he made a specific qualifier there that I recognized yesterday, and I'm really picking on today now that I'm hearing it again. But he said no minor league players were off the table. So that leads me to believe that there really wasn't packages for major league talent, at least for some of the deals he was trying to put together. So I wonder if that was an inhibitor. How do you guys kind of dissect his commentary from yesterday?
Well, first of all, I'm concerned. You okay? You were out in the rain and the cold yesterday. You okay?
Yeah, no. Okay? I'm fighting for my life once more. This has been a hellacious week for me, from the turbulent flight to thinking
You know what? I think the Chilean miners had the same problem. They had the same complaints.
Well, I feel them now. Trust me.
Yeah. So sticking the straw up through the ground on a constant basis. But I would say this is that my takeaway, and Julian, you tell me if you agree, is he didn't want, as he said, he didn't want to take away from the major league team, which I don't have a problem with. Like, you didn't have a lot of luxury items to trade if you actually wanted to compete this year, the major league team, right? So that's what they didn't want to do. They wanted to make these trade using their minor league players.
Right.
And then he's saying, well, I also, we didn't want to take anybody off the table. Everybody was available, but they didn't like our players. That doesn't line up. That, like, science would suggest that doesn't make sense because let's give this example. Two examples, right? Shane Bieber, Merrill Kelly, right? You don't think that if you said we're gonna give you Peyton Tolley and whoever else for whatever Merrill Kelly, that wasn't gonna usurp whatever the Rangers were offering? Of course it would. Of course it would. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. You tap in on that, Julian.
No, I think it's the look, man. I don't know. I said to you, Jahmai, before, like I don't know if this guy Breslow's out here getting hustled or what, because everybody they seem to be in on or think they're in on, and the other team goes and they think signs this guy for, they think it was what's a lesser package than what they wanted or what they asked of the Red Sox. I don't quite get that. I was talking to Rob offline about that yesterday. We were saying like that doesn't add up either. So like everybody you lose out on, you offered better prospects than the team that won. I just, that just doesn't fit for me.
Yeah, it's not adding up. The science, as Rob put it, is not adding up behind it. And obviously they're not going to come out and say, "Oh, yeah, we offered X, Y, and Z player for this particular package." But some of the things we're hearing a day later, and even his commentary yesterday, just makes you wonder, what kind of packages he was putting together. And like Peyton Toley's great, but you would have definitely given up a prospect who has potential to be maybe.
Yeah, I would, and I don't want to get this twisted. I wouldn't give up Peyton Toley in a deal for Merrill Kelly either. But like but there's other ways to do that, and you're right. I mean, I think that it comes back to, I think they had their models. I think they had their idea of what was acceptable, and they probably said, "What do you mean you don't see it the same way that we do?" And I'm not being cruel. Like that's their prerogative. But at the same time, the bad look here is that you said you did it this way, but the bad look is that so many teams made deals. So many. And so when so many teams are finding ways to make deals, even for relievers, valuable relievers, then that's I'm sorry, I mean that's just a bad look.
Yeah.
So we asked Julian this just a moment ago. Oh, what do you got, Julian?
No, go ahead. I'm good.
I was going to say, no, we asked Julian about the pieces that they got back. Dustin May, he probably won't start today, but that would be on the schedule that he had been on since his last outing. But they get Steven Matz as well. How much do you think those pieces upgrade this current team, Rob, as it stands?
Yeah, they upgrade them. But listen, I mean, Matz is a luxury item. Fine. You've upgraded a place that you didn't necessarily need to, how we're desperate. If you put the power rankings, you guys know I love a good power ranking. You go through the power rankings of things that you want to prioritize at the deadline, then the lefty reliever, the veteran lefty reliever wouldn't be in the top 5. Fine. Good. It'll work out. Whatever. Dustin May, fine. He sort of falls under, well, is he going to be better than Walker Buehler? Okay. But we can't come back to, we have to come back to the original statement, and Breslow has said this even this morning. The original statement, which was our goal, our priority, was to find a starter who could pitch in the postseason, that level of starter. So, stop and start. Like, that was the goal. And Dustin May, with all due respect to Dustin May, I think he could potentially be a good pickup. Kyle Harrison could be a good pickup. But those aren't that guy that you're talking about. Merrill Kelly is that guy. Joe Ryan is that guy. Even Shane Bieber potentially is that guy. Dustin May right now, off of what we've seen this year, you can't say he's that guy.
And the Red Sox, they love these like sort of these reclamation projects, right? And so at first I was like, okay, he probably has 2 more years of control. They're going to make him into this. They're going to put him in their pitching lab, and this pitching lab, this made up invisible pitching lab. I don't know. Somehow Quinn Priester gets better when he leaves here. I don't know for whatever reason that's about. But anyways, yeah. So they're going to get them in their pitching infrastructure, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, oh, he's an expiring deal. Ooh. What sense does that make? What sense does it make to have a project on your roster who's on an expiring deal? It does. It doesn't make any sense at all. And that for me, that just tells me you were desperate to make a move.
Well, and Julian, the other part about this is with Dustin May, the Dodgers, like, it's not like they couldn't use a good pitcher.
Yeah.
That's what's sort of baffling about it. And maybe they said, hey, you know what? We're all right. We got Snell coming back. We got all these guys coming back. It's okay. We don't need them. We're going to get something for them. But, this not make Dustin May into something he's not right now. And that's not to say that Dustin May is not going to have a great career, but it is what it is. We just saw him. Like, he's a guy coming off of Tommy John surgery who's still trying to figure things out a little bit. That's fine. Great. So, yeah.
In the words of our friend Kenley Jansen, if by 27 years old, your 5th year in the league or whatever, you're not good, guess what? You're not good. So
the immortal words of Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, Rich Hill wants a word.
True, very true. So plenty more to dissect here on the Red Sox, the trade deadline and some pieces. And even us, I want to get your reaction to on everybody getting deked by JP Morosi's report on Joe Ryan. We thought something might have been going there as well. Just how those things can happen. You got to be able to tighten the ship. You're listening to 310 to Left, watching it as well, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. We're back with more trade deadline conversations after this short timeout.
310 to Left is presented by your New England Ford dealers who've been taking everyone out to the ball game at Fenway Park for decades. Catch Ford next time you're at Fenway, including in the Ford Clubhouse, a full-service bar perfect for bringing your lineup together and for recording our live edition of 310 to Left. It's all brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox.
Back here on 310 to Left, Jahmai Webster, Rob Bradford, Julian McWilliams, and we were just talking about getting deked by the JP Morosi. He said things were heating up, but yeah, I definitely got deked. Fox Sports put it out, Yahoo as well. They said that Joe Ryan had signed with the Red Sox. And at that point in particular time, I was like, this is vindication for Craig Breslow. He got the starter that he wanted. I mean, you got a behemoth and a just this massive social media presence with the baseball is boring. I mean, you guys have some type of way to stop these pitfalls of false information being tweeted out from your account?
Nobody knows the power of social media graphics more than you two. So, you know that, like, this is it's a dangerous game to play. It's a dangerous game to play at the deadline where there's a lot of stuff flying around. And you're looking at fake X accounts or whatever it is. But I will say this, guys. I mean, it sort of fed into that half hour where the Joe Mauer stuff was happening. There was this feeling.
Or Joe Ryan.
I know doing the show. What did I say? Joe Mauer?
Joe Mauer, the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think Joe Mauer would have been an upgrade too. But it's Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan, with that half hour that you had the feeling of, okay, they were slow playing it. Here we go. Mm-hmm. And then there was, like, I know that being on the trade deadline show, that's how we felt. We were like, and JP Ricciardi was saying this. He's like, there you go, Garrett Crochet game 1, Joe Ryan game 2. I'm like, yeah, 2025, 2026, 2027. I mean, that was the feeling. And then the sad, then you have the graphic, and then you have the sad trombone of, no, 6 o'clock, not happening. But it was that half hour, man. It was throw the cougar in the car, lower the heart rate. Everyone was excited.
It was such a tease, right? And I missed that tweet initially because I was on set at CBS. They had me doing some trade deadline stuff. Nah, I didn't mean. I'm not really. I'm not. Yeah. So, but when I saw it, and I was like, that can't be true because from what I heard, like they were out on him, and all of a sudden they got back in. But apparently, I'll say this: they did feel like they were close on Joe Ryan. The Twins probably didn't feel that way, but the Red Sox felt that way. And I can tell you that.
How can that be? I find that very hard to understand. How can that be? You and me are going for something, and then so I say, it's going to take It's going to take these two things. You say those two things are great. We got a deal. You know what I mean?
First, the Twins asked. This is according to my sources. First, the Twins asked for Roman Anthony, right? And this is like a week or two ago. They was like, "Yeah, no shot. That's not happening."
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fine. Okay, and then I wouldn't say it's crazy. I mean, let's pipe down these prospects, okay? And I know he's not a prospect, but like I hate prospects.
He's a big leaguer now.
He's a big leaguer now. I'm not saying him. I'm not just in general. Just prospects trigger me with all this. People
That's what I'm saying. You got fired up right now, but he's a big leaguer.
Then, no, not him. Okay, that was misdirected. I'm sorry, Roman. Okay. That wasn't at you. It was at this next one. So then they came back and said, okay, Peyton Toll and Franklin Arias, infielder, Arias, plus more. And the Red Sox said they were willing to play ball, I guess. There's somewhere along those lines. I don't know if they would be willing to offer those guys, but they were listening, as Breslow said in his press conference. And then, again, they're like, wait, what happened? We thought we were close to a deal. So this is where I'm like, is Breslow, are they just screwing with him? Because how do you feel like you're that close to a deal so much?
Yes. I mean, it's a big question.
Here's the thing, though, is that Derek Falvey, the Minnesota Twins president, baseball operations, he can sit there. Hold on. Let me close out my Wikipedia page. But he can sit there and say, hey, you know what? Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Because all he's doing is playing on the desperation of the Red Sox or whatever team that wants a guy who has 2 more years of control after this year. This is why Cease doesn't get dealt 2 years ago. This is why Crochet doesn't get dealt last year at the deadline, because these teams don't have to do it. They know that they're like, hey, you know what? If you want to get crazy, let's get crazy. That's fine. But no team is going to get crazy enough. So while the Red Sox thought they got crazy, the Twins are sitting there saying, no, man, you don't know what crazy is all about. When you have a guy like this with an ace with 2 years left, call us back in the offseason. So there is no motivation, even with all the sell-off that he did with the Twins, there is no motivation for him to give the Red Sox any wiggle room at all when it comes to their offer. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
You're right. I mean, they sold off 11 major league players, and you thought it was going to be a dirty dozen.
And again, perhaps it's because it's like a younger front office. And when I say younger, like in a sense of guys just starting to begin to do this. But there was no reason for them to do that. And plus, Minnesota, as Rob said, for all the fire sales and stuff like that, they don't feel like they're sort of in a bad way here, right? They feel like they're pretty confident that after next year will probably be a wash. But in 2027, they feel like they have a strong nucleus of players that can compete in that division again. They just wanted to dust their hands clean with this old regime because they were like, this is the same team that collapsed last year and went 9-18 in September. And this same team is underperforming again. And one of those underperformers includes Carlos Correa. The Houston Astros went to the Twins first about the deal for Carlos Correa. Like, hey, do you think he possibly might consider would you guys consider this? That's what got the gears turning in their head, was like, okay, maybe we should do that. And they're like, you know what? This team is underperforming anyway. Yeah, let's do it. But it never means like it's like a full sell where you're just selling guys like Joe Ryan, who's making what, $3 or $4 million and has 2 more years. Yeah, he has 2 more years of team control. It just doesn't work like that. And again, I'm not sure if it's because of it's a lack of maturation or sort of experience in that front office regime or what. But like, to me, it sounds like they just get swindled left and right, and people lead them on and just like, nah, just not good enough. So it's I'm with Rob.
Guys, if you're the Red Sox, and I know like listen, like GMs across the world, when I say this, are going to cringe because they'll say this isn't how business works. But there are some players where you say you have 2 years of control. You know what this guy is. You know that he's an ace. You know that when you get to the postseason, you have, to JP's point, you have Crochet, Joe Ryan, and let's go. Like this is how you win World Series, which ultimately is the goal. So why don't you just say, all right, just Nixon Garcia, Peyton Tolley, Franklin Arias. All right, we'll live with the rest. You know who I know does that? His name is AJ Preller. And they've been able to keep winning, to be sustainable. And yeah, you don't want to do that. But maybe they did it. Maybe Falvey said, no, that's not good enough. I find that hard to believe. But still, like if you're going to get that guy at this time of year, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, it's that seemed like that would be a good enough package to send off. And like you said, it's about winning the World Series right now. The Red Sox feel like they got a team not only that is built for
what do you think?
postseason this year. Well, I'm telling you right now, the Red Sox feel like they got a team not only built for the postseason this year, but also a team that can win a World Series. So if that is your mindset, if that is something that is in your thought process as you begin to try and make these deals, I think Joe Ryan, Merrill Kelly, one of these top-end frontline starters that they feel like they don't really have to upgrade the rotation was the way to go. It didn't happen, so a lot of fans and a lot of people on X, I know it's only a representation of a small, microcosm of the fan base, but it was a lot of fury there. And a lot of people feeling disappointed again, like they got duped. So it's unfortunate, but you think about the division, what the Blue Jays did, what the Yankees did at the minute. Indeed. You feel like everybody.
You want to keep going down the list? The Rays, the Tigers, the Astros, the Rangers. I mean, the Rays, the Mariners,
the Rangers. You said it.
And a quick thing, fellas. Ultimately, what is the worst feeling in the world? Not only for a fan base, but for a front office, is that if you get to your ultimate goal, you get to the postseason, and all of a sudden you have to start running out bullpen games, right?
Yeah.
You get to this point, and you're like, boy, and I know this because Mike, bless you, Mike Hazen is Arizona. He said this a couple of years ago. This guy got his team to the World Series, and he's beating himself up over the fact that he had to run out a bullpen game because he wasn't able to get something done at the deadline. But that is the lesson that should be learned. Like you have a good enough team to make the postseason, but do you have a good enough team to ultimately win the World Series, which last time I checked, that's the ultimate goal. And if you're in position to do it, which they would have been, then you do it.
Well, Rob, I take it a step further. They might be having bullpen games in September. The way this is going, right? It's not out the question. I mean, look, Crochet has never done this before, and they can say whatever they want in terms of, oh, we're pushing him back just to give him extra rest and all this stuff, and yada yada yada. Okay, fine, but he's your ace. You're going to need him every 5 days at some point. It can't be too much of this pushback thing, right? It can't be some. And they're running Crochet into, huh?
It's not. I was building you up. I said it was a great point.
Oh, building me up. Thank you.
But you just made me think of something, Julian, which is we focus on the level of starter. What we also should have focused on the level of innings a starter could give you to help exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about everyone wants to crap on the idea of Charlie Morton. Well, go check out his last 11 starts. There's been one time he hasn't pitched as many as 5 innings. Most of them are 6 innings. So you need that guy to speak to exactly what you're talking about. And they have guys who could potentially do it, but Dustin May has upside, but he isn't perceived certainly as that guy.
Yeah, I mean, look at him like when he came to Fenway, right? I mean, he was it was kind of like a similar to sort of like this Luzardo situation where you're like, oh crap, like he looks good, and all of a
It
sudden
was electric for about 4 innings.
and then all of a sudden he gets clipped by Bregman and it's just it's over after that. And I think guys like that who can't stop the bleeding, that's what I look at. Can you reset and stop the bleeding more than anything? Right? It's like, okay, it's one thing to give up 2-3 runs. Even for my favorite thing in baseball is seeing a starter get shelled in the first inning, give up like 4 runs. The greatest starters give up like 4 runs. Then all of a sudden they go 6 scoreless after that. Right? It's like there's this wiring in their head of how to adjust on the fly when crisis hits. What do you do when crisis hits? And I think a lot with Dustin May, he hasn't responded well to that. And again, granted, we always talk about the upside, but I'm sick of upside with this team. I'm sick of it. It's good to see some of the upside come to fruition this year. It's good to see Cedon having the season that he's having. It's great to see, Wilyer having another really good season. It's good to see Duran finally coming along again. But how long can you wait for these guys? You have like there again, and I think Ken Rosenthal brought this up on one of his podcasts. He talked about just like, oh, we have a young group of guys that we think are going to do well in the future. He's like, the Orioles said the same exact thing. They said the same exact thing. And what do they have now? A team that's in last place with one of the better catchers in the game, one of the better shortstops in the game, and probably a rising star in Jackson Holliday, but they have nothing to show for it. That's how that's how the window for opportunity to be able to win in this league. It's not that wide as you think, right? And so that's why I give credit to somebody like AJ Preller going out there and seeing the moment, like, okay, I got a 32-year-old in Manny Machado. Yeah, I got a younger guy in Tatis, but he still gets hurt a lot. Jackson Merrill, he's young, but he's not out here saying Jackson Merrill's like 23 years old. He's the key to our future. Fernando Tatis is only 26, 27 years old. He's the key to our future, right? He's saying I need to win now. And he's been saying that even when Manny Machado was like 27, 26, 27 coming over. He's always been full throttle.
Jahmai, if Julian's favorite thing in baseball is a 6-inning start, is your favorite thing in baseball deep dish pizza at 1:00 in the morning in Chicago?
I mean, it's up there. I will admit it is up there.
That's
but
the equivalent of a 6-inning start. I like it.
That is. But my
You're
favorite
right,
thing
Julian.
would probably be
You're spitting truth. You're spitting truth. I love it. It's good.
Hey, you both are, and it's fantastic. We're going to take another quick break here because we got to pay some bills to keep Rob on the show, most importantly. But when we come back, let's get your thoughts on kind of the biggest concern, as Julian mentioned, actually, with Garrett Crochet. But we'll get your thoughts, Rob, on the biggest concern about this roster over the final 2 months. And we're going to get your thoughts on how you see it. You're watching and listening to 310 The Left, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. We'll be right back after this. Back here on 310 The Left, Baseball Isn't Boring's top dog, Rob Bradford with us, CBS Sports national baseball writer Julian McWilliams also here, and your boy, Jahmai Webster. We just led into the last break, Rob, as Julian brought the point about Garrett Crochet kind of reaching historical markers right now for his career and on pace to really crush his career high in innings pitched by like 60, I think was my math. He's did 140 some odd innings. He's probably on pace now for 33 starts, 210 innings pitched. But not only with Crochet, what's your biggest concern, Rob, about this roster over the final 2 months as they try to make this playoff push? They kind of are hanging on to that wild card spot right now.
It's exactly what the Red Sox said it was going to be heading in the deadline, which is having some sort of certainty, guys that you know are going to give you innings, the guys that you know are going to give you production in that starting rotation. And, that's not a knock on Giolito or Bayo or whoever, but it's like you need, or Buehler. I mean, that could happen. But, going to go back to Merrill Kelly, you had a pretty good idea what that was. And it takes the pressure off everybody else. It takes the pressure off of the bullpen. I do think that the offense it's still, we've seen too many sort of stretches where it gets a little uncomfortable, but you still had to prioritize that pitcher, I think. And you talk, and Julian, it's a great point by you about Crochet, because this is going to be the be-all, end-all. This is going to be the no room for interpretation topic when it comes to the Red Sox. You have to get the best version of Crochet. We've already seen it about how important that is to have that guy when you're not feeling good about yourself make you feel good out of nowhere because you have an ace. Well, you got to keep him going down that road. And then what nobody talks about is, Crochet might end up over 200 innings way beyond of whatever he's done. I don't know if you know this, but you still have to pitch more innings in the postseason too. Ask Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen had 240 innings a couple years ago. Like, you have to prepare yourself for that. If you want to make a run, you have to prepare yourself for that. And so otherwise, you are going to be running out bullpen games. And I know that teams did it last year. I know the Tigers did it. I know the Guardians did it. Whatever. But the Dodgers were really, really fortunate that they ended up basically with two starters, Flaherty and Yamamoto. They didn't have, if they lose that game, they were running out of pitchers. And that's
right.
The Dodgers. And by the way, if you want a lesson about how important the trade deadline is, guys, Kopech, Edman, Flaherty. You tell me, did they win the World Series without them?
No.
I don't think so.
All right.
Those are major pieces, yeah.
Science would suggest that they got them all at the trade deadline last year.
Yeah,
so
they certainly did.
So anyway, I answered your question, reliable starter. That's what concerns me.
Okay, so go ahead, Julian. Let you put a button on that.
For me, I think it's the reliable starters. And again, if like he's asked Zach Gallen, also asked Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck never did it before, and look at him this year. Like,
he just got transferred to the 60-day injured list. Yeah,
right. Like it's tough to watch in some sense because you're like, geez, this guy is pretty worn down. And look, our friend Ian Brown called it. He's like, I'll be interested to see what Houck looks like. And coming in spring training, he's like, dude, he doesn't. I don't care if it's spring training. This doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And it happened to be from the wear and tear of last year. He'd never done it before. And some people just don't bounce back the same. But in addition to that, I think first base is something that concerns me. When I saw, when I was texting around, I was like, hey, what's the deal with Yandy Diaz? And it's like, yeah, the Red Sox, they're not close on Yandy Diaz. And then he came out the game. He got hit in his wrist.
Not to interrupt. I just talked to someone this morning, said that Yandy Diaz, the Rays had no motivation to trade him.
Yeah, it was okay. So it was there was this reluctance around. They seemed reluctant to trade him. And then you see O'Hearn go to who else? The Padres. And you're like, geez, so the Red Sox are stuck with Abraham Toro, whose OPS has dipped to 713, 720 since everybody started heralding him as like this greatest pickup in all of baseball. And the Red Sox knew they needed first base help, right? You can't keep running out platoon guys. I always say, like, the best remedy for – you can have platoon guys, fine, right? But you can't have 50 of them on a team. Like, and the Red Sox have 50 platoon guys. You know what that tells me? You're cheap. Because did you know what Dombrowski went out and got? He got a closer and he got an outfielder.
Yeah.
An outfielder that can plug in at times, probably won't play every day. But it's none of this always just moving around in platoon stuff. Oh, I'm going to put Romy at second. I'm going to put him at first. I'm going to put Abraham Matoro at third. Then I'm going to put him at first. Then we're going to DH. Then I'm going to have Duran DH. And then Yoshida DH one day. It's bedlam. Dude, just have a set roster. And looking at this roster, I'm saying, do I think they're a playoff team right now? As currently, they can make the playoffs. They can sneak in. But is it a certainty? I felt like it was a certainty going into the deadline. I'm like, geez, this team looks better. But they're one Crochet injury away from being at home again in October. And that's the whole reason why you have to go out there and acquire guys when you see best fit to acquire guys. Most of these prospects don't work out. People on the internet talking about Blaze Jordan. How they give up Blaze Jordan? You really think Blaze Jordan was going to make an impact on this team? Like, how many rookies do you want on this roster? Go out and get me a guy that can play every day, that you know you can plug in, and play every day. College,
two guys in the last 2 years, in the last two deadlines before this one, there was exactly two players which teams and executives probably threw up all over themselves saying, I wish we didn't trade that guy. Cole Reagans and Kyle Stowers. That's two. And you're talking about 30, 40 trades. Not to say that guys won't make the major leagues. Joey Luperfido of the Blue Jays and Will Wagner, fine. But you know what? You got Kikuchi, and he was really good. It's okay. It's okay if you make the major league for a minor leaguer. But you know what, Jahmai? I would love to see you in the World Series. I would love to see you present for a Boston Red Sox World Series. That's my main motivation.
2018, I was there. What do you mean?
No, in your full capacity.
Okay, yeah. I was just filling in back there. Right. But so, I mean, Red Sox are a playoff team. They got a game lead in the wild card over Seattle, who got significantly better. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the show.
So neutral.
I mean, the game and a half behind the Yankees right now for that top wild card spot. And just some breaking news here on 310 The Left is the Red Sox just adjusted the rotation against Houston, who they start a series with today. Cooper Criswell starts tonight. Walker Buehler gets game 2. And Dustin May pitches the finale on Roku at 11 a.m. So
you didn't even know who was pitching tonight. We didn't even know who was pitching tonight.
I actually thought Kyle Harrison was going to pitch.
I thought so too as well.
They didn't have a starter for tonight. And you go out and get Dustin May?
Yeah.
They didn't even have a starter for tonight.
You know what?
So now
fortunately, I haven't revealed this yet. I have video of Jahmai chasing Alex Cora yesterday, screaming, "Who's starting on Friday, Alex? Who's?"
Yeah. We'll save that for the Baseball Isn't Boring Instagram page where you can find it on there after he posts this. But Walker Buehler, as we talk about this series, was kept at the deadline. You know, he's on this pillow deal, obviously, for him. So it's a nice one. $20+ million.
What was he going to do with him, Jahmai?
Well, I'm just positing the question and putting it in this phrase. I'm phrasing it this way so you can get your answer out, Rob.
All right.
Can Walker Buehler show that he's a frontline guy in this type of series against the Houston Astros? Yes, he's a piece. Hold on. I think every year we hear this from Alex Cora. You know, especially in years past when you think about Chris Sale being on the injury list, and he's like, "Well, hey, nobody around the league can add a Chris Sale at the deadline." What if Walker Buehler is that guy for him this year, and he finally figures it out completely, and he goes on this tear? Do you guys see that in the cards?
Absolutely.
Julian?
It's like, no, hold on. Let me. Dot.
Okay.
It's hey, Walker Buehler falls under the same category as Dustin May, right? Can he do it? Maybe. But the problem is that you can only live with so many of those can you do it's. And we actually thought coming off that start in Philadelphia, here it is. He went down to Atlanta.
Right.
He went to Maven, figured it out, and then you have the last start against the Dodgers, and it didn't go. Like, it was sort of the same old stuff. You need to figure this out. But so what I'm saying is that, yeah, I've seen stranger things happen, but at the same time, it's been a while here, man. Like, it's been a while. And honestly, let's be fair. If as much as we're screaming about Dylan Cease and Zach Gallen, go look at their results for the last 6 starts. Not good. Not good. So you would be in the same boat, kind of like you're in the same boat with Dustin May, too. The problem is that you asking that question, Can Walker Buehler be that guy? We shouldn't have to ask that question on Friday, August 1st.
Yeah. Because you know who's not asking that question?
First meeting. Yeah.
You know who's not asking that question? The Yankees. They're not.
I mean,
you know who's not asking that question? The Toronto Blue Jays. Gosman,
I don't
Bassett.
know. I don't know. You don't know what you're gonna get from Shane Bieber. He's made 4 starts over the last what?
Of course. That's the only one. That's
so you're asking the question.
But you're talking about current guys on the current roster that weren't trade deadline acquisitions. Like I'm talking about proven guys, and Chris Bassett, Kevin Gosman, and I'm not saying Walker Buehler's proven at some point, but it's been a while since he's been good.
Yeah.
And Jose Barrios. Yeah, like those are proven guys that you can go out and say, okay, we can win some games down the stretch with these guys. And then you have Shane Bieber, and that's sort of like the icing on top or the cherry on top, right? You're just looking at him saying, okay, if he's good, like this was a sort of a low risk for them, high reward situation. And if he's good, you have Shane Bieber. If he's not, if he's not as good as he typically is, then fine, he could probably feel somewhere in the middle, but he's still a 4 or 5 starter. They're not looking for him to come in there and be their number 1 starter. They have that. But if the Red Sox were to get Shane Bieber coming off Tommy John surgery, similar to Walker Buehler, they'd be like, ooh, he could be our number 2 starter.
Ooh.
I would take Shane Bieber.
I mean, the Red Sox would have too, I'm guessing, as well. But plenty more to go on this conversation.
Where you put him in the pecking order, right? It's where you put him coming off of an injury.
Right.
And the Red Sox coming off an injury would probably penciled him in as a number 2 starter. The Blue Jays are probably like, yeah, figure it out. You could be our 4th or 5th starter, and come playoff time, we'll see what we have.
Well, it'll be interesting thing to see because I think the Toronto Blue Jays might have hit the stride a little too early. We'll see what happens with that. But let's tap into that on the other side of the break. Rob, this has been fantastic, man. I want to thank you for your time coming on here. And we'll see you at the ballpark later today. Julian and I will be wrapping things up on the other side of the break. You're watching and listening to 310 to Left, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers.
Dream come true.
310 to Left is presented by your New England Ford dealers who've been taking everyone out to the ball game at Fenway Park for decades. Catch Ford next time you're at Fenway, including in the Ford Clubhouse, a full-service bar perfect for bringing your lineup together and for recording our live edition of 310 to Left. It's all brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox.
Back here on 310 to Left, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Jahmai Webster, Julian McWilliams back with you to wrap this up. And thank you to Rob Bradford for coming on, providing the insight and energy, I should say, as I'm struggling through this cold, man. Jeez. Trying to get myself together. But let's take a wide view at some of the teams at the trade deadline. And the Yankees added a number of players, highlighted by reliever David Bednar from the Pittsburgh Pirates. What grade do you give that, man? The Yankees, what they did at the deadline.
I give them a B plus from the sense it would be an A- or an A, but I think if I were them, I would have added another bat because I do think they need another bat in there. But in terms of them, going out there and getting what they need, like from a pitching standpoint, I give them an A plus. They didn't get the starter they wanted, but obviously the teams didn't get the starters they wanted anyways. I think they'll be okay on the starter front. They got Luis Hill coming back, but I think that. And then the Duvall guy, they got Camilo Duvall as well.
Camilo Duvall, you walk in the high wire act with him, but if he's on, it's pretty good stuff, man.
Yeah. So I think they did really well.
Yeah, I give them a B plus. Bednar, obviously, that's a closer that they've been seeking. He's going to be fantastic. You know what? I actually might give them A minus.
It's going to be interesting to see how these guys pitch in New York, though, because pitching in New York as a closer is different than pitching as closer in Pittsburgh. I mean, I think Devin Williams has figured that out this year, where he's like,
exactly.
He was struggling in the beginning because it's just a different beast.
Much like
Boston. Coming here. Yeah.
Right. So I give them A-.
Different.
I like Caballero ad for them as well. Now the Jays add Bieber and Dominguez. What grade do you give them?
Jays, they did enough. They're fine. I give them a B minus. I think they could have added another a bullpen arm and a bat, but I think they like the team that they have. There's so much talent on that team, from Vlad to Bichette, and George Springer is having a resurgent, a renaissance type of year. So, I think they're doing. I give them probably a B minus.
All right, we got 30 seconds to go. Astros bring back Correa. Just a quick one on that.
Yeah, I give him a B, but I think this puts him in the contention category for me, because Correa's a leader there. He'll be able to play third base. Won't have to use him as much. Jeremy Pena playing over at shortstop, so I think they're in good shape. They're the Astros, man. Until somebody knocks them off, I won't believe until they do.
Yeah, much like the NBA and the Golden State Warriors, you feel about the Astros, who just continuously been able to do it. Red Sox and Astros, 3-game series this week. Julian McWilliams, CBS Sports National Baseball writer. Thanks so much for being with us. You're listening and watching 310 The Left, brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling truck. For 48 years, the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.